好，欢迎你看到第三个部分我的 bookshelf tour 啦。Okay, but actually, welcome to the third part of my bookshelf tour. I switched to Chinese there because this is the bookshelf that has all of my Chinese books on it and all of my husband's Chinese books. I can speak Mandarin and he can speak Cantonese. We are both white Americans. I have Swiss heritage, he has German heritage. But we speak Chinese because we actually met as missionaries when we were serving in Hong Kong at the time. I never would have known that that was the man I would eventually marry because I wasn't even in that mindset at all. Anyways, so up here we've got mission journals and photo books. Actually, all of that is mission journals and photo books. And then next to that we have our wedding photo book. Where's the cute? That was such a good day. And then behind that is a book of his marriage advice from people that came to our brunch. And all of that got put together. And then a photo book of Josh's mission stuff. And I just dropped everything, but I caught it because I'm a ninja. But I'm a clumsy ninja. What is this?
It's like a little planner.
You didn't plan anything in it.
No, I've never used it.
We've got an unused and beautiful 2015 planner with gold leaf on the edge there. Probably cut that out as well. Anyways, we've got the old missionary handbook. We've got a little notebook full of Chinese notes. We've got Preach My Gospel. We each have our own with our own notes in it. And I've got my Mandarin to English Oxford Chinese Dictionary, and then a regular English definitions dictionary. I just have it next to there because the books match, and it's pretty when it matches. Okay. This shelf is Chinese textbooks. These ones I used in high school. These ones I used in college. And then I've got some Chinese picture books as well. This one is very interesting just because of the format of the book. I really like this one. And then it's got whole spreads that are just picture. And yeah, that's a giant fish. And that one, and that one. Okay. Then I have a little educational pamphlet from a museum I went to in Hong Kong, and it's the Sun Yat-sen Museum. Then I've got the red one is a Mandarin Chinese grammar book, and the purple one is a Cantonese Chinese grammar book. And then this one is it's basically, and yes, the cover is gone, because when you live in Hong Kong, everything gets ruined by the humidity and wet and things break, especially when you're reading them every day. So this is the missionary lessons that I was teaching in Pinyin, so I could learn them well. And then next to that is one of my favorite books on this shelf, and it is a Chinese culture and social and political history book. In the back, I actually taped The Ballad of Mulan, which I plan to read to you guys at some point. Probably around when the live action movie will come out, when that stops getting delayed. So, yeah, that one's really interesting because, I lived in China in high school, and I served a mission there for my church. Well, in Hong Kong, not in mainland China, but I lived in mainland China in high school. But it's just cool to learn more about where I lived. and the people that were around me. And then I've got a book of short stories. And this was one of my college textbooks, and it's just children's stories, and we had to just read. I think we had like one a week that we had to read. I'm not very good at reading them though. Like, I could get it as I'm going and stuff, but if you asked me to come back a week, a month later, I'd have to get out the dictionary and do it all again. I don't know why. That's just, my mind doesn't keep the characters in my head very well, unfortunately, except for a few very vital ones. And this was the first Chinese textbook I ever got, because I knew my family was going to move there, and I saw this at a book fair. I saw this at a book fair, so I grabbed it, and I like this one. I like this one in particular because it's got the CD that you can listen to and learn with, and it's very easy to follow. Okay, then I have the old translation of the Book of Mormon into Chinese. It's since been retranslated a little better, but this is a Mormon Jing, which is funny because it's a really bad pun, which is why it got retranslated. But yeah, this was getting, they were clearing out some cupboards at the church I was serving at during my mission, and they found one of these, and I just asked if I could have it as a collectible, and they were like, yeah, because, I mean, it's out of print now. Now we use Mormon Jing. Okay, and then this was given to me. It's a book on some Chinese philosophy and stuff, and it's really interesting because it's part English, part Chinese, part Pinyin. I've said Pinyin several times in this video and have not explained what that is. Pinyin is the pronunciation for Chinese written in Romanized letters. So, yeah, that one's really interesting. And then this is Common Words and Phrases. The cover got ruined on this, but I made my own cover for it instead. Then we've got a Cantonese English dictionary, the right word in Cantonese, and we've got two little graphic novels that are in traditional Chinese. And then we've got another different version of an English Cantonese, it's upside down, dictionary. And then from that point on is church books. So only a few of these, actually I think only 2 of them are in Chinese, the rest are in English. So the 2 books that are in Chinese are a Cantonese hymn book with Pinyin and a Mandarin hymn book with Pinyin. And so I'll show you. So it's got the music, and it's got the English version with the music, but then it's got the words for Cantonese there. My Mandarin one looks a little different. Mine doesn't have the English words, it just has the characters and the Pinyin underneath it. Has English words for the title though. So I'm going to put those back. Okay, then I've got 2 small hymn books. One was mine, one was my husband's. Then we've got some, it's called the Missionary Library, but we have multiples of the books because we each had our own version. So we've got Jesus the Christ, Our Search for Happiness, Our Heritage, True to the Faith, and I've got the old Strength for Youth pamphlet. I don't know if it's been updated since then. I'm sure it has. They update that thing all the time. Then I've got a normal English hymn book. When church meetings are able to resume outside of our home after this is over, my calling at the church, like what my volunteer position, you could say, call that a calling, is actually to pick and conduct the hymns each Sunday, which I really like because, I don't know, music just speaks in a way that I don't think that we can otherwise. Okay. And then I have a book on teaching. It's a church book on teaching. And a book about marriage. And a book about one of the past prophets of the church. And then a book about mission work. And then a book about Relief Society, which is the women's organization in our church. It's actually the longest standing women's organization in the world. And then I have another hymn book, which is just simplified hymns so that we can play them a little easier. And then I've got a couple more. Let's see, 1, 2. I've got 4 more church books on teaching, and then 1 at-home studying book for the gospel. So, yeah. And then down here, bottom shelf, Mandarin, Cantonese. These are Pinyin, Book of Mormon. Like I said, the translation in Chinese has changed. As you can see, this says Mo Er Men Jing, and this says Mo Men Jing. This one is in traditional, this one is simplified, but it says the same thing. So yeah, this one's my Mandarin one, this one's my husband's Cantonese one. This one's so beaten up because I basically had it with me every day for a year and a half. In all weather, typhoon, rain, shine. Basically, it was humid every single day. So, I mean, it's been through a lot, but I love it. It's pretty great. Okay, then I have a bunch of random stuff. That belongs in my classroom, actually. I've got my banjo books. I've got some hymns that I've printed out for choir. I've got a book of music from high school and a pile of church magazines. And then this stuff right here is also just more Chinese learning materials. So, yeah, I'm going to put this back for right now because it's the weekend and I'm not in my classroom right now. And, yeah. Anyways, that is part 3 of my bookshelf tour. Oh, if you wanted to know what's on top here, these are blocks with Chinese characters that you can build and put together to make different words and stuff. And then just a whiteboard and my scriptures. Yep. Thanks for watching. Bye. 再见.